When I was just over 5 months pregnant with my first set of twins, I received some scary news from my OB. I was told that my cervix is extremely short and opening. In other words, I was dealing with incompetent cervix. I was very confused and I was not sure what that meant. My doctor told me that for the amount of weeks that I am, my cervix is a lot shorter than what it should be. With an incompetent cervix, a healthy baby or babies is at a high risk due to the mother's body not being able to carry the pregnancy. My OB told me to be prepared that my babies can be arriving at any day. It was a Thursday and she did not feel like I'll make it through the weekend still being pregnant. I wasn't due till June. It was February. I still had over 4 months to go. I thought, how can my baby survive being born so early? Why and how did my cervix get so short? What could I do to lengthen it? I had so many questions, with the main one being, will my baby survive being born so early? My OB booked me to get an emergency steroid shot at the hospital that same day. The point of this steroid shot was to strengthen my baby's lungs, since my OB felt that they'd be dropping out of me at any time. The steroid shot was given to me by an injection in my butt cheek, and I had to get a second injection in my butt cheek the next day. Although it wasn't comfortable, I wanted to do anything to help in assisting my baby's chance at survival, since they were going to be born so prematurely. Although I was so sick and dealing with hyperemesis, I was working at 3 jobs at the time. 3 jobs. My OB told me that I had to stop working to reduce the chances of preterm labor. My OB told me that I should avoid walking as much as possible. I was working at a daycare, a synagogue, and a call center. And I asked if I could at least keep the call center job, since I'm just sitting and not moving around as much. She told me to stop working at any job. This was hard because I was just a few weeks away from being able to receive a year of paid maternity leave. However, I was willing to do everything possible to help ensure the health and survival of my babies. My OB told me that sitting upright puts a lot of pressure on my cervix, and I need to try to lay down as much as possible and not do too much. She also told me to not have sex, which I wasn't having anyway, so that was not a problem. She put her hand up my vag to do a pelvic exam. I had no warning. I did not even know that she was going to be doing this, but yep, she did that pelvic exam, and without putting her hand up too far, she felt my daughter's foot. My daughter was breech. She was feet down. When babies are supposed to be head down, my daughter was feet down. With barely putting her hand up, my OB felt my daughter's foot. And my daughter's foot felt so low down there that sometimes when I would wipe and I used the washroom, I was scared that I would feel her foot dangling. So I don't know if the feeling felt so low and so intense because my cervix was so short, almost non-existent, but it felt like my daughter's foot was dangling, and I'm telling you, the doctor barely put her hand up and felt my daughter's foot. Of course, during this time, being told that my babies are gonna come super early, I was stressed. I was scared, I was stressed. I remember looking up preterm, premature babies online just to see what are the survival rates for the amount of weeks I am, what do babies born at that amount of weeks look like. I was about 22, 23 weeks. I was 5 months, but I was almost 6 months. This has been a while. I was scared. I was so scared. I didn't know if my babies will survive, and if they make it, how will their start at life be? I knew it was gonna be a fight for survival, and I just wanted to do everything I can to ensure that they stay in. But there's nothing you can do to strengthen or lengthen your cervix once it's gone. Once it's short and it's gone, there's nothing you can do to grow it. I remember seeing how small babies born at 5 months, at 6 months pregnant. I remember seeing how small they are and all the medical assistive devices they need just to survive, just to breathe, just to eat. And it was heartbreaking seeing some babies don't make it, and the babies that do make it are fighting every second, every minute of their lives. They're fighting for survival. All this machines and wires and tools, and it was heartbreaking. It was definitely heartbreaking. It broke my heart seeing that that's the condition my babies will be in if they happen to be born so prematurely. They will literally be fighting for their life. I was too distraught to really do anything to prepare for the chance of giving birth so prematurely. My entire pregnancy leading up to this point was quite difficult emotionally, mentally, physically. it was hard. You know, I shared some of my journey on getting pregnant with my first set of twins in just a few videos before this one, so check those out if you haven't already. But it was hard. You know, just finding out I was pregnant and the sickness and everything leading up to this point was difficult. It was difficult. My OB told me that there's nothing that I can really do to help strengthen my cervix. Being on bed rest, laying as much as possible, not sitting too upright, not having sex. That is what she told me that I could do to help not speed up the process of it getting even shorter. So I just tried to follow her advice. If you're going through this, follow your doctor's advice. You know, just follow your doctor's advice. I tried to follow her advice. I looked up things online and I was appreciative every day that I was still pregnant. When I got the news that my cervix was so short, I was so mad at my body. I felt, how can my body be failing my babies? Its one job was to grow and protect my babies and it's failing them. I was so mad. I was mad at myself, mad at my body. Every day moving forward, I dealt with anxiety, thinking today might be the day. I'm not ready, I'm not prepared, but today might be the day. I didn't have a baby shower or much of anything, but I knew if I was to give birth so prematurely, they wouldn't be home with me. They'll be at the hospital for quite some time. When the following week came and I had another appointment with my OB, I reminded my OB that she told me that I most likely would not make it through the weekend still being pregnant, and here I am almost a week later still pregnant. She still told me to be prepared that they would be coming at any moment and didn't feel like I had much time left. Mind you, I was not even 6 months yet. And she once again told me to try to be on bed rest as much as possible, don't do too much, you know, all that. I had ultrasounds booked by my OB twice a week to monitor my babies and also my cervix. I remember praying and praying to reach week 24, which is the week when a baby has a chance at survival and viability if they happen to be born premature. Most babies born before 24 weeks don't make it because their lungs and other vital organs are not developed enough. Even after 24 weeks, there's still a lot of complications that can occur due to a baby being born prematurely. Full term is considered over 37 weeks. Anything under 37 weeks is considered premature. Every day that I was still pregnant, I was so grateful. I was so thankful. I took it day by day knowing that my babies can arrive at any moment. Long story short, from being told that my babies were going to arrive at any day when I was 5 months pregnant, I made it to 37 weeks and 2 days, which was the day of my planned C-section. My doctor did not want to keep them in any longer than that. By then they're full term, and I had a C-section due to my daughter being breached. When twin A is breached, usually it might result in a C-section. If twin B is breached but twin A is head down, some doctors might try to attempt to do like natural labor. For my OB, she felt like the safest option for me was to do a C-section due to my daughter being breached. I was hoping that she was going to turn around and be head down. She didn't, but at the end of the day, I was just happy that I was able to carry to full term with twins after being told that my cervix was pretty much non-existent. From around 5 months being told that they're going to come any moment to making it all the way to 37 weeks, 2 days, call it 9 months. You know, that is 9 months because they say pregnancy is actually 10 months. You know, so to making it to 9 months, 37 weeks, 2 days with no cervix, making it that long. They came on June 2nd. That was their deadline. The doctor didn't think I was gonna make it till then. They made it to their deadline, June 2nd. I know there's many women who do give birth prematurely due to an incompetent cervix, due to having a short cervix, and unfortunately many babies do not survive. My heart goes out to any woman who lost their baby or babies due to an incompetent cervix or due to other reasons. Just know that it is not your fault. After having my first set of twins, I did experience a miscarriage early in my pregnancy. I was devastated. I was heartbroken. I still get sad thinking about it, you know, but a few months after experiencing that miscarriage, I got pregnant with my second set of twins. When I got pregnant with my second set of twins, I had a different OB. I had a male OB this time, and I informed him of my issues with my first set of twins, carrying them and dealing with an incompetent cervix in my first pregnancy. Due to my history of having incompetent cervix and the risk, he had me do a transvaginal ultrasound almost every week to make sure that my cervix was at the length that it should be, It wasn't short, I wasn't dilating. I had the transvaginal ultrasound. Every single time I had a regular ultrasound, he also did a transvaginal, where the ultrasound tech did it, where they put the pole inside of you, and that was the best way to monitor the length of my cervix. And every time I was anxious, because I read online, there's different sites that say if you experience it with one pregnancy, you're more likely to experience it with following pregnancies. And for me, no. I did not experience incompetent cervix with my second pregnancy with twins. Just like the first pregnancy, I was carrying 2 babies, and here I am, second pregnancy, carrying 2 babies, and no. I think I was around 30 weeks when I had my last transvaginal ultrasound to check my cervix. I remember my first meeting with him, I asked him about doing the cervical cerclage. I'm probably saying it wrong, but it's a stitch that women can get if you have a history with short cervix, or if the doctor sees your cervix getting short, or just as a preventative measure. They could put a stitch in your cervix to help prevent it from getting short. But my OB said there's no real proof that that actually works. You know, some doctors do it, some don't, but he didn't do it. And I've seen for twin pregnancies, doctors usually do not recommend to get a cervical cerclage. Cervical cerclage is a procedure that makes sure your cervix is tightly stitched. Every week when I did a transvaginal ultrasound when pregnant with my second set of twins, I was told that my cervix is long and everything is well. I'm living proof that just because you might have had incompetent or short cervix in one pregnancy does not mean you will have it in future pregnancy. My second set of twins did come prematurely, and they did have to stay in the NICU, but that wasn't because of incompetent or short cervix. I will be sharing that story very soon, so make sure you subscribe. The video after this is actually going to be the labor and delivery for my first set of twins that I've been sitting on for 7 years almost. They're gonna be 7 in a couple of weeks. I wasn't sure if I was ever gonna share it, and I decided I'm finally gonna share it. You know, I'm finally gonna share that video after holding on to it for 7 years. They made it. I know it's not the case for everyone. My heart goes out to you if you're experiencing that right now. I know the stress of not knowing what's gonna happen, and if you experience short cervix, incompetent cervix, and you lost a baby, my heart goes out to you. My heart really does. If you want to try again, I hope that you get your rainbow baby. Just keep checking on the cervix from early, and I pray that it doesn't happen again in your future pregnancies. Thank you so much for watching. If you're trying for a baby, I sprinkle some baby dust. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.